I'm sorry. I can't assist with that. The tension hung thick in the air, like an electric charge before a storm. Anna stood at the edge of the crowd, heart pounding, every breath sharp and heavy. She scanned the faces around her, searching for the one person who had sent everything spiraling, a figure hovering just beyond the reach of her vision. And then it happened. The flicker of movement to her right drew her attention. A flash of red. A woman, familiar yet foreign, pushed through the throng, eyes wide, face pale as death. It was Claire. Anna hadn't seen Claire in years. The two had shared laughter and secrets, until the secrets had spun out of control. "Claire, what are you doing here?" Claire's breath came in ragged gasps, panic shimmering in her eyes. I had to find you. It's about—" But before she could finish, a loud crack echoed across the plaza. A collective gasp rose from the crowd. From the distance, a figure emerged, limping but determined. Mark, the last person Anna expected to see. The man who had been the anchor and the storm in her life. "Mark, no!" But he pushed forward, adrenaline racing, muscles straining against pain. His eyes darted around, searching for someone, for something. Anna felt a tightness in her chest, a knot of dread and hope fighting for dominance. "I need to tell you both," Mark shouted, his voice strained. "Tell us what?" Anna urged, but her words hung unfinished in the space between them. There was a sudden shift. A commotion broke out in the crowd, faces turning in horror. Anna's heart sank. An explosion of reality detonated in her mind, tethering her to the spot. Then a figure, shrouded in smoke, lunged into view. It was David, eyes wild, a dark gleam in his hand. The scene slowed. Fear wrapped around Anna like a vice. "Get away from him!" Anna screamed, the words tearing from her throat. Everything crashed into chaos. David's true face emerged, a mask of anger twisted into something unrecognizable. He didn't come for them. He came for revenge. "Anna!" Mark's voice cut through the din. "We can't let him do this!" But before they could react, it happened. A flash, a blinding light, and it was as if time fractured. The crowd roared in shock. The air erupted with the sound of shattering glass, screams echoing against the walls of the plaza. Anna felt her stomach drop. "No, please don't." But the finality of the moment struck hard. Everything she thought she knew, everything she thought she could control, shattered like a broken mirror. In that instant of chaos, Claire stepped forward, her voice rising above the noise, filled with a fierce urgency. "Mark, Anna, I know something!" But it never reached them. A loud shot rang out, and David staggered back, his face contorting. Then, silence. A body fell, and the plaza froze. Anna's heart slammed against her ribcage. A mix of disbelief and cold fear washing over her. What had just happened? Who lay there? Mark's hand found hers. A trembling connection in a world that had just twisted into a nightmare. What was the truth? What secrets had been buried so deep that they had erupted into violence today? And in that stillness, Anna felt darkness creeping in. She had to find out. The moment loomed before her like a dark tide, ready to sweep everything away. Who could she trust now? What would happen next? Mark's grip tightened on Anna's hand. An anchor in the storm, swirling around them. His eyes were wide, reflecting the horror of what just happened. "Anna, focus," he yelled, urgency heavy in his voice. But before she could respond, a wave of energy pulsed through the crowd. People were still frozen, faces caught between shock and horror. Then Claire's voice broke through the stillness once more. But this time, it was different. "Anna, please, you don't understand." Suddenly, Claire staggered back, a shuddering gasp escaping her lips. Blood oozed from her side, dark and dripping. Anna's heart dropped into her stomach. "Claire!" she screamed, but the sound felt like it was swallowing fury to panic. "What? No! Claire!" he shouted, and in that moment the chaotic noise of the crowd faded, leaving only the sound of his voice trembling in the still air. Claire fell to her knees, shock etched on her face, bubbles of fear and pain mingling in her eyes. "I didn't want you to find out this way." Her voice cracked, and Anna's heart twisted with confusion. What was happening? Anna knelt beside her, hands trembling and mind racing. "What did you do? Who did this to you?" The questions tumbled out, breathless and desperate, but Claire only shook. Her head, her lips quivering and her breath growing shallow. "I was trying to protect you." A rush of understanding flooded Anna's veins. "Protect me? From what?" Panic clawed at her throat, her chest tightening as she searched Claire's gaze for answers. What secret was so dangerous it could cost Claire her life? Before Claire could respond, another piercing shot rang out, echoing sharply, a bone-chilling sound that shattered the tension. A figure in black emerged from the shadows, a cruel smirk stretched across their face. David was not alone. Anna's eyes widened. Beside David stood someone she would have never expected, her own brother Jake. The shock punched the air from her lungs. "Jake?" she breathed, disbelief lacing her voice. He was supposed to be safe, out of all this madness. Jake's eyes locked onto Anna's, cold and resolved. "I had no choice, Anna. You don't understand what's at stake." "Stakes? What stakes?" Anna gasped, backing away as the revelation settled over her like a dark cloud. All those years, Jake had been a stranger in her own life. All this time, you were involved? Why? David let out a booming laugh, the sound chilling. "It's too late for secrets now, isn't it?" He stepped forward, eyes gleaming with malice, and for the first time, Mark's bravado flickered. Fear gripped his position. He was no longer the protector. "Run!" Mark shouted, his voice raw with urgency. But Anna couldn't move. The ground felt like it was pulling her under. "Jake, please! What's happening?" Her voice was a wail, raw and broken. Jake's gaze softened, just for a second. "I wanted to shield you from the truth, but it's all coming apart." Suddenly, everything collapsed inward. A surge of chaos and cries filled the plaza as people stampeded. Claire's eyes met Anna's, filled with desperation. "I did it to save you! Only you can stop it now!" A terrible realization washed over Anna. The truth was darker than she could ever imagine. Who could she trust? Her brother? Mark? Would the roots of blood bind her to a fate she couldn't escape? And as the crowd surged, Anna felt a chasm opening beneath her. A rush of adrenaline mixed with dread. The truth could destroy everything. In that moment, all she could think was, what price was she willing to pay to find out? Everything felt as if it was collapsing, swirling like a whirlwind just waiting to strike. Anna's heart thundered against her ribs, each beat a pulse of fear. She kept her eyes on Claire, determinedly gripping Mark's hand. "Stop!" Anna cried, feeling the crowd surge around them. "We can't let this happen!" But her words felt small and powerless. Claire gasped, a strained breath caught in her throat. "You have to trust me, Anna! Don't you dare say that!" Mark shouted, panic slicing through his voice. "You're hurt! We need to get out of here!" But before Claire could answer, before Anna could even scream, the world around them erupted again. A violent force sweeping through the plaza. A deafening explosion tore the air apart, lighting the night sky with blinding flames. Anna's vision blurred. The crowd screamed, voices merging into one desperate cry. Chaos reigned. People fell, like dominoes tumbling in slow motion. Anna felt the ground shake beneath her, a tremor that mirrored the quake deep in her soul. "Mark, get Claire!" she shouted, but he stood frozen, eyes wide in disbelief, caught in the shock. In one fluid motion, Anna turned toward the chaos, and that's when she saw it, the flicker of movement behind the flames. A shadow darting toward them. Smaller than David, sharper, more sinister. Loud footsteps. A heat wave washed over her. Then she heard the unmistakable sound of a familiar voice, laughing, cutting through the madness like glass. "Anna, did you really think you could escape this?" It was her sister, Emma. What was she doing here? How could she? "Emma!" Anna gasped. The realization came crashing down. "You're alive?" "Alive and right on time," Emma sneered, the shadows hiding her twisted smile. Anna's heart sank deeper. It felt like a betrayal, oh so sharp. Emma had vanished years ago, swallowed by a secret they never knew. But now, here she was, the very source of all that chaos. "Get away from her!" Mark shouted, finally breaking free from his shock. But Emma merely tilted her head, as though to mock him. "No, no, you don't understand. This isn't about you two." Her voice dripped with confidence. "This is much bigger, something you can't comprehend." Anna felt the weight of those words settle around her like a suffocating blanket. "What do you mean?" she stammered, eyes darting between Claire, Mark, and the flames licking the night sky. Emma stepped forward, gaze unwavering. "I had to play my part," You were always too soft, Anna. Soft? I'd never. But no words formed. Claire cried out, clutching her side, struggling to inhale. Get away from her, Emma! You don't belong here. Oh, but I do. Emma grinned wider, an unsettling glint in her eyes. You see, I was the one pulling the strings long before any of this. She motioned to the chaos around them, ever began. Anna's throat tightened. Her mind raced to connect the fragments. Emma hadn't just left. She had chosen this dark path, a queen of shadows hiding among them. What have you done? Anna whispered, horror creeping into her voice. Before Emma could respond, another crack rang out. It sliced the air. Anna's heart dropped as Claire fell, eyes rolling back. The crowd gasped, twisting between shock and terror. No, Claire! Mark lunged forward, reaching for her. But Emma took a step back, delighted, reveling in the chaos she had created. You see, Anna, in every evolution, sacrifices must be made. And then Anna knew the truth. The threat had never been David. The real danger was her own blood. Emma had been the architect of all that terror. And now she stood there, unrepentant, a twist in the very fabric of Anna's world. As the flames crackled and smoke engulfed them, Anna's heart raced and her vision narrowed. What was she supposed to do now? Could anyone be trusted? And just when she thought she couldn't take another second, a voice reverberated in her mind. A whisper of rebellion. Don't let her win. But Anna didn't know how. And that terrifying thought hung in the air, unanswered. As everything she thought she had shattered under the weight of new revelations. Where could she possibly turn now? Anna's heart pounded, trapped in a cage of confusion and dread. Emma's presence twisted everything she believed. You think I'm soft? She managed, her words trembling on the edge of disbelief. Yes, Emma replied, a cruel smile curling her lips. And that's why you'll never compete with me. Mark stepped closer, eyes wild. Let Claire go! She needs help! But Emma merely shrugged, dismissing his concern. Claire lay on the ground, grasping at her wound, life slipping away inch by inch. No! Anna cried, the weight of helplessness crashing over her. I won't let you do this! Emma's laughter echoed, mocking. Do you really think you have a choice? This was always meant to happen. Suddenly, a deafening roar erupted from behind them, a surge of heat blazing through the air. The plaza shook as a figure exploded through the smoke, arms raised with an unnerving calm. It was Jake, her brother, but before she could process the sight, he lunged toward Emma. Stop this! You don't know what you're doing! Don't I? Emma snarled, and in one swift motion, she pulled out a gun hidden beneath her jacket. Aimed it straight at Jake's chest. He froze, shock paralyzing him. Emma, don't! His voice trembled, alive with fear. But then, something unexpected happened. A look crossed Emma's face, a flicker of doubt. For a brief moment, guilt danced in her eyes, and Anna seized it. Emma, please, whatever this is, Whatever lies you've been told, it doesn't have to end this way. But Emma's resolve hardened. You just don't get it, do you? She spat, her voice shrill. I'm not the one on trial here, Anna. I'm the one who made a choice. Just then, David, still standing in the shadows, stepped forward. His expression twisted with glee. It's all part of the game. You're too late, Anna. The real truth is about to be unveiled. Anna felt the ground spin beneath her. What game? What truth? A loud explosion erupted in the distance, shaking the plaza. And in that moment of distraction, Claire mustered her last ounce of strength. She reached deep into her pocket and thrust forward a glittering object, a small vial. Anna, she gasped. This is for you. The truth. Before Anna could comprehend, another gunshot rang out. This time, it wasn't Emma's, but something else. The world exploded in blinding white and thunderous sound. Everything went white. When the vision returned, chaos reigned. People screamed and scattered, and Anna blinked at the blurriness now surrounding her. Her breath caught as she focused on the ground. Claire was gone. No, Claire! But the noise of running feet drowned her. Mark was gone too, lost in the tumult of bodies. Desperation clawed at Anna's chest as she turned towards Emma. What did you do? I didn't do anything, Emma shouted, panic creeping into her voice. I was trying to protect all of us. You can't see that? Just then, the crowd parted, revealing a new figure carrying Claire's lifeless body, a stranger cloaked in black. What have you done? The figure demanded, voice sharp. Anna blinked, recognition slicing through her confusion. Who are you? The world spun again, revealing an unfathomable truth. I'm here to end the game. You're all pieces, and you never even knew the rules, the stranger replied, their voice like steel. I hold the final key. With that, the figure raised the dagger, glinting under the fractured light, and Anna felt a chilling realization pierce through her. This stranger held the power to rewrite everything. In that moment, her world shattered again. What would it cost to reclaim the truth? As Anna's heart raced, she realized that nothing would ever be the same again. Who would rise and who would fall? The question loomed large, heavy with uncertainty, as the crowd stood still, waiting for what came next. Anna's pulse quickened. The figure before them, cloaked in shadows, held the glinting dagger high. The air thickened, tension curling tight in her chest. Emma's gaze flickered between the dagger and Jake, panic simmering beneath her arrogance. Don't do this, Anna shouted, desperation clawing at her. Whatever game you think you're playing, it can't end like this. Emma's grip tightened, the knife wavering for. Just a second. You do understand, don't you? There's no escape for you, or for any of us. And then it happened. A blinding flash erupted from the dagger. A pulse of energy thrummed through the crowd, shaking them to their core. People screamed, some stumbling backward, as color drained from the world. Everything blinked, a moment suspended in time. Just as quickly, Anna's vision cleared. The plaza morphed into a strange landscape, the ground rippling like water beneath a storm. Her heart sank further into panic. Everything felt wrong. The colors twisted, landscapes blurred, and the screams of the crowd echoed like ghosts. "Anna!" Mark's voice broke through. She turned to him, but he wasn't really there. His eyes were vacant, staring through her. "You need to see this." "See what?" Anna's voice cracked, confusion swirling with fear. This wasn't real. It felt like a dream or a nightmare. But then the world shifted again. Figures emerged, ghosts of the past she thought she knew. Familiar faces, friends, family, lost ones, wrought with pain and confusion. Each of them looked at her with eyes filled with anguish, pleading for answers she didn't have. "Why?" Claire's voice rasped, and Anna's stomach dropped. "Claire, no! You're here!" But the glow around her was fading, like a candle flickering in the wind. "Make it stop, Anna! You have the power to change everything!" Claire pleaded. But was it really her? The shadows twisted, and with them, Anna felt her resolve weakening. Suddenly, one figure broke free from the shadows. It was Emma's voice, commanding. "You think this is a game? You don't know what they've done." "What are you talking about?" "Look deeper, Anna." "The truth is buried beneath you," Emma spat, pointing the dagger at the ground. A crack splintered across the asphalt, and from it, darkness seeped out, thick, suffocating. "I can't trust you," Anna shouted, backing away. But the shadows swirled, and the cries of the past grew louder. Then, without warning, a loud, shattering sound pierced the chaos. The crowd fell silent as the figure cloaked in black staggered back, pulling off its hood to reveal. Anna gasped. "No, it can't be." Her own reflection stared back at her, a twisted version, weary and broken, eyes hollow with secrets. Anna stumbled back, hands trembling. "This isn't real. You're not me." "Oh, but I am," the figure whispered, voice smooth like silk, laced with venom. "You've buried the truth all this time, Anna. It was always right inside you." An unbearable weight settled on her chest. "No, this isn't how it was meant to be." "The stakes have shifted," the figure replied, smirking. "You need to decide who you really are." Just then, chaos erupted. The plaza swirled with shadows, the ground shaking as if in a storm. Emma screamed, the dagger slipping from her fingers. "Jake, help!" But he was engulfed by the darkness, lost to the shadows. "Anna!" Mark called, desperation echoing in his voice as figures swirled around them. "We have to go." In that moment of sheer panic, Anna realized she had to face the darkness within. She turned to the twisted version of herself. What is the truth? Embrace it or lose everything. Heart pounding, she took a step forward, a choice weighing heavy on her shoulders. The world pulsed around her, engulfing her in shadows and light. The question hung, heavy as the air thickened with uncertainty. Could she truly confront the truth lurking in the depths of her soul? The figure stared back, a twisted reflection, taunting Anna. She felt the weight of dread press down, squeezing her chest tighter. "You think you know me?" the shadow whispered. "The truth is darker than you've ever imagined." The plaza swirled, shadows creeping closer. Anna's heart raced. "What are you trying to say? I don't know what you mean." "Dig deeper," the figure insisted, voice smooth as ice. "You've hidden from the truth for too long. Face it." But everything around her was becoming surreal. Echoes of the past churned loudly, faces merging into a disorienting blur. Emma's laughter rang like a bell, harsh and unyielding. "See, Anna? You're not just innocent in all of this." "No, I was doing what I could." Anna's voice quivered. The dagger's edge glinted wickedly as shadows coiled tighter. Anna's mind spiraled. Her entire life felt like a lie. "You chose this. I didn't." Suddenly a loud bang echoed, like thunder splitting the night. Fear froze her breath. The crowd jolted, looking toward the sound. A suave figure emerged from the smoke, striding forward with an unsettling confidence. It was their father, John. "Dad!" Anna's heart dropped. How could he be here? "What are you doing?" "Anna, listen to me. It's time," he said, voice low but powerful, a storm lurking beneath. "You need to know. Your sister isn't who you think she is." "No! This isn't happening!" Anna shook her head, disbelief crashing over her. A feeling of betrayal coiled in her gut. "What do you mean?" "She's not your sister," John declared, eyes steely. "None of this is real. Your past is a fabrication, a game designed to hide the truth." Anna felt like she was slipping. "What are you talking about? Emma is my sister!" "No," John snapped, taking a step forward. "You're not who you think you are either. Your mother, she made choices, and you were part of a bigger scheme. You were recreated." The world tilted. The shadows pulsed as Anna struggled to breathe, panic clawing at her throat. "Stop! You're lying!" But Emma's face hardened, a flicker of triumph crossing her features. "Do you see now? You've been a pawn all along." "No! This can't be true!" The words echoed painfully in the space between them. A chill enveloped them, as if the air itself recoiled, stifling her. "You're the key to everything, Anna," Emma said, eyes gleaming with a desperate excitement. "You've always been more than you ever knew." Another earthquake rippled beneath them, friendships fracturing. Rapidly, bonds contorting. The crowd gasped as one, whispers turning to shrieks of confusion and disbelief. "Stay back!" John's voice boomed, possessive and fierce. "Anna!" Mark shouted, desperation lacing his tone. But she felt like she was drowning, lost in a sea of chaos and betrayal. The shadows swirled violently, and Anna stumbled backward. "I didn't ask for this!" she cried, casting a pleading glance toward Mark. He was her anchor, but darkness was closing in. Emma stepped closer, eyes sharp as daggers. "The truth will come for all of us, but only one of us can survive it." And just like that, everything shattered. A blinding light burst around her, swallowing the plaza whole. The crowd faded, screams silenced. Only the four of them remained, suspended in a vacuum. "No!" Anna screamed, reaching out for anyone. But all at once, the world blurred again, swirling harder, leaving her with a heart pounding in pure terror. As she clenched her fists, raw realization bloomed. If this was true, if everything they knew was fabricated, then who was she, really? "Don't let it go, Anna!" John's voice echoed, deep and resonant. "Fighting this is the only chance you have." The darkness expanded, and Anna felt a fracture in her soul. What do I have to lose? But in that moment of vulnerability, everything hung in the balance. Secrets loomed larger than ever before, surrounding her in shadows. Would she embrace the truth, or would she lose it all? The question hung suspended in the air, waiting for an answer that could blow everything apart. Anna felt the ground shift beneath her, a surge of energy that felt electric. The shadows pulsed around her, tight like a noose. John's eyes pierced through the chaos. "You have to confront it, now, Anna." A low rumble echoed, shaking the very foundation of the plaza. Anna stumbled, heart racing, losing the thread of her thoughts. The crowd began to murmur, their fear radiating like heat. Time twisted, stretching each heartbeat, each breath. And then, with a crack that split the atmosphere, everything changed. In an instant, the air exploded with a blinding light. Anna shielded her eyes, the brightness swamping her senses. When she opened them again, she blinked against the raw glow, revealing a figure framed in white. A woman in a long, flowing dress, her hair cascading like waterfalls, ethereal yet fierce. "Mom?" Anna whispered, disbelief slicing through her chest. John's voice trembled. "No, it can't be." The woman stepped forward, and the crowd gasped, voices heightening in astonishment. "What have you done?" she demanded, locking eyes with Emma. "This isn't your destiny." Emma recoiled, shock contorting her features. "You left us! You abandoned us!" Anger flared in Anna's chest. "Why are you here? What does this mean?" The woman, their mother, stood tall, radiant and glowing. "You've been living in a shadow. I tried to protect you all." "Protect us?" Emma laughed bitterly. "You call this protection?" "Enough!" Their mother's voice shattered the tension, commanding. "Attention. You must know the truth behind your creation, Anna. It's time." "Creation?" Panic surged within Anna, confusion mixing with dread. Everyone had played their part, but where did that leave her? A tremor shook the ground, but it wasn't just the rising chaos. The plaza cracked open beneath them, a rift exposing darkness below. Whispers echoed like forgotten ghosts. "You were born to change everything," their mother continued, urgency at her words. Anna's heart raced. "Change what?" As her mother spoke, the shadows thickened, swirling violently around them. "The truth is buried, but it lies within you. You are consciousness reborn. You hold the power to rewrite our fate." Before she could respond, A lunge erupted from behind her. A figure leapt into view. Jake, eyes wide, desperation painted across his face. "Anna! No! Don't listen to her!" "Jake?" Anna's voice cracked, confusion flooding her again. "What's happening?" He took a step closer, urgency intensifying. "You have to understand. She's lying." The tension snapped like a wire. Emma's face twisted in rage. "You're afraid of what we are." The shadows yawned open. "Calm down," their mother urged. "You must come together to close it." She extended her hands, a plea, shrouded in conflict. "Together?" Mark shouted, panic building in his voice. "She betrayed us!" Emma's eyes shone with fury, and she lunged, grasping at the dagger that lay forgotten. "I'll end this!" "No!" Anna screamed. In that moment, chaos erupted. The shadows surged and enveloped Emma, pulling her back against the darkness. She cried out, caught in a struggle against the consuming shade. "Help me!" But the rift widened, pulling Anna towards its edge. The air crackled around her. The darkness, howling with lost voices. In the midst of the frenzy, Anna's world collapsed, shock wrestling through her body. Just then she caught a glimpse of her reflection in the encroaching shadows. A version of herself she barely recognized. A flicker of power surged through her, deeper than before, a force waiting to be unleashed. Everything changed again. The plaza began to tremble violently, the reality distorting as she stood on the cusp of revelation. The weight of her truth bore down on her, pressing hard. In that moment of chaos, as the ground rumbled and Emma's desperate cries echoed, Anna faced a choice that grasped at her very soul. Would she harness that power? Would she save her sister? Or confront her past? With the world tearing around her, the question loomed larger than ever. What price would she pay to claim her true self? Anna felt the energy swell around her, like electricity crackling in the air. The tension was palpable, hearts racing as shadows deepened. She couldn't focus. The world swirled with confusion and fury. Emma's eyes gleamed with dark intent, the dagger trembling in her hands. "Anna, listen to me," their mother urged, voice straining against the chaos. "You hold the key. You can end this." But the crowd was restless, whispering fears that roared like an unleashed beast. Anna felt lost, her heart pounding in her chest. "Tell me what to do," she pleaded, glancing between Emma and her mother as uncertainty roared like thunder. Suddenly, the ground jolted violently beneath them. A deep rumble echoed through the plaza, shaking everyone to their core. Shadows coiled tighter, and Anna stumbled, catching herself. "No, not now!" In that moment, a blinding light split the shadows, forcing Anna to shield her eyes. Then, everything changed. The figure of her mother seemed to dissolve, brighter than the sun. And in a flash, Anna saw a vision. Images flooded her mind, scenes of her childhood, moments of joy, twisted in darkness, betrayal cloaked In love, he gasped, the weight of memories pressing down. But among those memories was a lingering detail, one she hadn't fully realized before. "Mom, you were in on it?" she whispered, dread clawing at her gut. Her mother's eyes widened, an unexpected flicker of fear darting across her face. "No, I tried to protect you. You must understand." But Anna couldn't hear her over the storm brewing. Just then, a deafening roar filled the air, shaking the ground again. The plaza cracked open, and from the fissure, a dark figure emerged, twisting at impossible angles as it soared upwards, smoke trailing in its wake. "Enough!" it bellowed, voice echoing with ancient fury. It swept through the crowd, faces turning pale with shock. It was not just a figure. It was a beast, a dark embodiment of chaos holding power Anna had never been prepared for. "Anna, behind you!" Mark shouted, as the creature lunged. Before she could react, a force hit her, knocking her off her feet. Panic surged through her. In those fleeting moments, she saw Emma's face, twisted in terror. "Run!" Emma cried. Now not a threat, but a desperate plea. The world felt like it was exploding. Shadows writhed, collapsing inward as people screamed and fled. The chaos merged into a cacophony of voices, each one blending into disarray. Anna's heart hammered against her chest, fear paralyzing her. But the beast turned, locking its eyes on Anna. Everything within her went cold. The very essence of her fears coalesced in that gaze. "You think you can change this?" it whispered, voice curling around her like smoke. Then everything fell silent. Time paused, and Anna felt something deep inside her surface. A realization. I wasn't meant to be a part of this. I was created to lead them. The beast laughed, a terrible sound that sent shivers down Anna's spine. And here you are, gathering pieces of a past you can't escape. You are the spark, but the darkness will always find you. Suddenly, in that moment of clarity, the truth hit her like a tidal wave. "What do you mean?" she gasped. And at that moment, everything shifted again. The sky cracked open, a piercing light cutting through the fabric of their reality. Anna felt the surge of energy rip through her, pulling at her limbs, as if the universe was unraveling. Then came the shock. The beast, still grinning, flickered, revealing a familiar face. A face she had loved, trusted, and lost. "Jake!" she whispered, voice trembling. "Surprise, Anna," he smirked, the darkness swirling around him like an old friend. This was all part of the plan. Shock enveloped her like a shroud, and the pieces of her world began to tumble down. Everything she thought she knew, all her relationships, shattered in that moment. "Why?" she breathed, confusion and betrayal tearing through her. "Because this is just the beginning," he said, grinning wickedly as the crowd stood frozen, caught between terror and disbelief. And in that moment, The question lingered in the air. Who was really pulling the strings? Anna stood, heart racing, as Jake's grin twisted into a smirk. Shock buzzed around her like static. "You've been playing us all this time?" she shouted, anger slicing through her fear. "Why?" "Because it's all a part of the plan!" Jake exclaimed, eyes alight with madness. "You're the Quozer we need to reshape everything, bring chaos to order. No, you're wrong." She could barely breathe, panic gripping her throat. This isn't about power. This is about family. But as she looked at him, the flicker of familiarity was gone. The beast loomed closer, its shadowy form rippling. "This is your legacy, Anna. You can't escape it. You were built for this." Before she could respond, their mother stepped forward, determination etched across her features. "No more lies, Jake. You've gone too far." The ground quaked, shadows twisting in a dance of fury. "Mom!" Anna cried out, but her voice got swallowed by the chaos. "Anna, focus!" her mother shouted, drawing a line in the sand. "You are the thread that can sew this chaos back together. Come to me." Anna's eyes darted between the madness that surrounded her, Jake's betrayal gnawing at her resolve, and her mother's unwavering love. What was the truth? What kind of power did she really hold? "Together!" their mother cried, arms wide. Anna took a deep breath, heart pounding like a drum inside her chest. With every ounce of will, she stepped toward her mother, their hands almost touching. A warm glow enveloped her, pulsing like a heartbeat. The beast roared, anger erupting, shadows lunging at them. But Anna felt a surge, a force rising within her like a tidal wave. "You don't control." "Me!" she yelled at Jake, fear morphing into fury. Jake faltered, uncertainty flickering in his eyes. "You can't do this, Anna!" "Yes, I can." She held on tightly to her mother's outstretched hand, feeling warmth spread through her. The plaza shook violently, but she wouldn't let go. In an explosive moment, bright light erupted from their connection, engulfing the shadows, bright enough to blind even the darkest parts of the night. Screams filled the air as the darkness fractured, revealing flashes of golden light swirling around. With a final roar, the beast disintegrated into dust, leaving only echoes behind. The plaza transformed, colors bursting forth, clarity breaking through the chaos. The dark figures faded, leaving only Anna, her mother, Jake, and Emma, who stood rooted in shock. Emma took a single step back. "You did it?" "I chose hope over fear," Anna said, heart still racing, realizing the real power lay within her. She turned to Jake, determination hardening her resolve. "You can't manipulate family or fear anymore." Caught in disbelief, Jake backed away slowly. The light flickered, illuminating the truth between them. "You think this is over?" he spat, desperation rising. But Anna stood firm. "It is over. You've lost your grip." As the plaza settled, she felt clarity wash over her. Guilt tried to creep in, but she pushed it aside. We all have choices to make. We need to come together, not tear each other apart. Looking at her mother, Anna whispered, "We'll rebuild our family. Together." In the stillness, the crowd began to disperse, confusion melting into hope. Faces once twisted in fear were now expressions of amazement. "Anna, you're incredible!" Mark exclaimed, rushing toward her, relief flooding his features. But as she embraced him, her heart weighed heavy. She had faced shadows and darkness. Yet in that victory, she sensed lingering mystery. What truly lay ahead? As Anna glanced back at Jake and Emma, their futures lay uncertain, but undeniably intertwined with hers. The journey had transformed them all, and with an unsteady breath, she knew they had to forge ahead into the unknown together. Because the scars of their past would only strengthen the bond they shared. Now, as the thrill of what had just happened tingled in her veins, a fire lit inside her. There were more stories to be told. More chapter. She turned to meet the horizon, excitement swelling. What lay beyond? And now, if you loved this journey, you need to subscribe immediately to catch exclusive stories you won't want to miss. This is the moment to show your support by smashing that like button right now. Flood the comments with your reactions and theories about how this all plays out. Don't wait another second to share this video with 5 friends who need to experience this wild conclusion. Only true fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through your actions. Let's dive into the next adventure together.